Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spruce Grove Composite High School's Grade 10 Parent Information Evening. This is for all Grade 10 parents, and we'll give you a bit of information about your Grade 10 students' school year and some information that's important for you, perhaps as a parent that is maybe new to the high school environment. My name's Cam Robertson. I'm your Grade 10 coordinator and assistant principal. And I am responsible for a whole lot of things in this building, but certainly my most important responsibility is helping, is working with Trish Spink to oversee your Grade 10 students. We have 430 students this year, and I work with her a little bit, and certainly you and students on program planning and course selection, grad requirements, grades tracking, attendance tracking, discipline, all kinds of things. So I very much am enjoying working with your students currently. They've had a great first few weeks, but I look forward to working with them over the course of the next year and 2 years after their grade 10 year.
Hi, I'm Trish Spink. I'm the grade 10 counselor and inclusive education lead. Yeah, like Cam said, it's been an exciting month getting to know our new students. It looks like we have the best group again. And I'm looking forward to working with them for the next 3 years. A little bit about my role is I work with students and families in a number of ways. One way is for some academic counseling and educational planning. So I help students with course selection and tracking of classes to make sure that they have what they need to graduate and to for the things after high school, like post-secondary. Also, I work with students to help develop skills like study skills, test taking skills, a little time management, little note taking, things like that. And also I work with students on educational planning and academic accommodations. Another part of my role is for post-secondary planning, and also I'm here for some personal counseling. I want healthy and happy grade 10 students. Another valuable member is Constable Gord Marshall. He is a school resource officer, and he's just a great guy, important part of our team, and he's so approachable to students.
So we have a number of different programs here at Spruce Grove Composite High School. The majority of our grade 10 students are certainly aiming to earn their high school diploma by the end of their 3 years here with us. On your screen, you can see the 100 credits that are minimum that are required, and the various individual requirements that students need to meet. Note that English and Social is a required course at the grade 10, 11, and 12 level. They have to earn, each student has to earn 15 credits in each of those courses. Math and Science must be completed up to the grade 11 level. Phys Ed and Comm at the grade 10 level. That'll be complete for most of them this year. CTS Fine Arts Second Languages, 10 credits for most students. They'll complete that this year as well. And then at the grade 12 level, 10 credits at the 30 level, other than English and Social. So they do need to, your student does need to be successful in courses that can be moved up to that grade 12 level in order to earn their high school diploma. And of course, in total, the number of credits needs to meet or exceed that magic number of 100.
Like students working towards their high school diploma, our students in our Knowledge and Employability program and our Laws program will be graduating with their peers with their Alberta High School Certificate of Achievement or Completion, and they have courses to meet as well.
And so a typical day for your grade 10 student, this has probably been described to you a little bit already, or maybe you're already familiar, but there is a morning and afternoon block. Each of those blocks is about 160 minutes long with a 6-minute break. Those breaks are staggered in the morning and in the afternoon, so there's not too many students out and about all at once. We have a 35-minute lunch and a 40-minute seminar block at the end of the day, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. But really, the typical day is about building a foundation for success, and that involves regular attendance, academic success, and connection to the building, to the staff, and to peers. And so in terms of attendance, know that at a high school level, certainly absences impact learning. And so we want students here each and every day. The stronger their rate of attendance, the better students do. There's just no way around it. Know that high school courses move at a much faster pace than what your student would have been familiar with in their middle years or in their last year in grade 9. Certainly, this is true in a quarter-based system. At this point in time, we are about a quarter of a way through the quarter. It has moved fast, and it will continue to move fast. And so it's really important for students to be on top of their studies. And when they are absent, that means it is the student's responsibility to make contact with teacher via email or through a Gmeet, or connect with a peer, or access the Google Classroom and the Moodle site or the class website that teachers have made available for students to access their learning needs when they absolutely have to be at home. And we know that there are a variety of reasons for that: illness, COVID or not COVID related, and other factors that become involved. A 10% rate of absenteeism is generally that mark that becomes where it becomes a flag for me. It means that, when a student has 5 or more absences in a quarter, I do look into the matter. I consider the context. How's the student doing in the class academically? What's their performance like? Are they connecting with teacher? Is all of that good? And is it likely that attendance is going to get better, and that kind of thing? Certainly, I have conversations with students, with parents. We identify some of the obstacles if they exist, and how best to address them. We put plans in place. If necessary, a student will connect with Trish and talk about some of those obstacles as well. And you know what? If the plan to address that doesn't necessarily work out, and maybe we talk about some alternates to their current program, we do that too. And so certainly those kinds of things are part of the discussion with student, with parent, and those at the table as well. In terms of building your foundation, your students really day in, day out, they're building the foundation for success in their core subjects. And so certainly know that, of course, at their grade 10 level, they have, whether they're in the more academic or the more general academic programming, or the knowledge employability program, there are connections built in between all the different levels. And students have the ability to move, of course, up to the grade 11 level and move up to a more academic level if they so choose, and if they've demonstrated those learning outcomes at each of those levels in a strong way. So there's lots of room for movement in a high school program. It is one of the beautiful things about high school. Certainly, the same is true for the other core subject areas. It's not just the case in English, but it's also the case in social studies. There's movement to and from based upon program needs, based upon post-secondary planning as they move through high school. Again, the most important thing: build that solid foundation of learning in the currently existing courses that are that exist for the student, and move forward with the best foot forward afterwards in terms of planning for the grade 11 year next year. And again, same is true for science. Just note with science 10, science 14, science 10-4. Science 10 is the gatekeeper course to biochem, physics, and science 20. We do have students who complete science 14, science 24, and then we'll having met their diploma requirements, will take on that science 10, and after improving their skill and their ability, and move on to some higher level science as well, in order to open some doors that they want to have open for them at a later point in time. Recognize with math is a little bit more complex, because this academic math 10C does become 2 different academic math courses at the grade 11 and then the grade 12 level. But know that it's really important, if you have some questions as a parent about math, touch base with your student's math teacher. That your teacher, the student's teacher, is going to be able to give you the feedback in terms of where your student is strong, where your student requires some growth, and how that aligns with the next step in their math journey at the grade 11 level, and what might be the best fit. Okay. And again, ditto for French immersion in terms of movement between the streams as well.
So these are some of our complementary classes. We've got lots of great complementary classes. There's a few extra ones for grade 11 and 12 students, like forensic science and psychology, things like that. So these are some of the classes our students take as well.
I mentioned earlier that built into every student's timetable is seminar. Seminar occurs at the end of each day. Essentially, seminar is teachers are giving up 20 minutes of instructional time in their morning class, 20 minutes of instructional time in their afternoon class. And this is dedicated, flexible time for students to decide to zero in and focus on one or a few small aspects of their learning. And they do this based on their areas of need, their areas of challenge, the areas where they need to put in the extra work. We know that all kids learn at different rates. All kids have different challenges and areas that they need to work on. And so this is time where they can make some decisions about that. Know that your student can be assigned directly to seminar. So your teacher, if the student is struggling and if they are not attending seminar with that teacher, the teacher can assign them, direct them, and if they don't show, can mark them as absent. So as for you as a parent, if you see an absence under that seminar category in PowerSchool, that's a flag for you, because you should be contacting that teacher and seeing how your kid is doing and whether or not they followed up by attending seminar and addressing the outcomes that they are struggling to address within the classroom, the regular timetabled classroom environment. Note that if your student isn't attending seminar, and if Mrs. Spink or I are feeling like they should be, because we're running some fail reports and we see that they're struggling or they have some questions, but they're not attending seminar to get those questions answered, then we will certainly assign them to and contact you about that as well. We also have our after-school directed learning room, and you know what? Really think about this as after-school detention, but with the purpose of completing the assigned work, right? So if a student hasn't been going to seminar and they have some outstanding work and they need to get that work done, they can get assigned to the directed learning room. It's time on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:15 to 5 in our library to get that stuff done, get it in so that it can be marked and count towards their grade, and they can be successful in the course. If a student doesn't show to DLR, there is a phone call home by the administrator who's overseeing that space. And so you will be informed of that non-attendance that way as well. Okay.
Like Mr. Robertson said, it's so important to get students connected to our building. And one way to do that is by getting involved. And we have lots and lots of different ways to get involved, whether it be athletics, our music program, our theater program, a club. So encourage your child to get involved. And if there's one that they don't see, have them approach a staff member and see if we can get it organized.
A few things to be aware of. One would be final exams. Final exams are important in a high school environment. Your student if they have not experienced writing a final exam much in their past, they certainly will at the end of each quarter here. They're not something to be scared of. They're not something to be extremely nervous of. A final exam is just a bit of a bigger test. And you know what? It's an opportunity to demonstrate your learning, the summary of the learning for the duration of the quarter. Okay. Typically, final exams are worth in the neighborhood of 30% of a student's final mark for that course. You know what? Which does impact a student's final grade, but not in such a strong way that, again, it should be something that should inspire fear or anything like that within your grade 10 students. So by all means, if they are expressing a bit of anxiety or worry about exams, you know what, talk them through that. And certainly that's something that Mrs. Spink does work with some students on as well. Okay. Know that at the high school level, it's really important for students to be present for those final exams. They are expected to be there. Obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic does throw some wrenches into that, but we have systems in place so that the student can write that final exam upon their return after isolation or whatever that might be. Okay. Another thing to be aware of certainly is diploma exams. Your grade 10 student won't be writing diploma exams, nor will they in grade 11 unless they're in a grade 12 diploma exam course. But diploma exams know that diploma exam dates are actually set by Alberta Education, not by Spruce Grove Composite High School, and those dates are set. And if they're not able to attend to write their diploma exam on that date, they don't get another opportunity until months down the road. So it's really important for any final exams at the high school level not to be planning vacations, not to be planning outings, all those kinds of things. Your student does really need to be present for and available to write their final exams and diploma exams at the high school level. Another thing to be aware of, work experience is something that students in grade 10 can earn at the work experience 15. In other words, if they have a part-time job, if they've already completed their HCS 3000 as a part of their COM program, then they would be able to sign up for work experience as long as their employer agrees to kind of sponsor that and sign off on that. Then they can earn some work experience credits for the learning that they're doing on the job and the skills that they're demonstrating on the job. If your student is interested, talk to Mrs. Weeb in Student Services to have their questions answered. RAP, the Registered Apprenticeship Program, is an excellent high school program. It involves on-the-job technical training where a student is essentially training, of course, to be an electrician, a cook, a plumber, a millwright, a beautician, whatever the trade is. There are 50 or over 50 available, but it is an opportunity for students to get a ticket in an Alberta trade. But there are some requirements that have to be met. A student has to be 16, and of course, most of our grade 10s are not 16. They will turn 16 maybe partway through their grade 10 year or in their grade 11 year. You must have a track record of success, of academic success in your grade 10 year. You need to make an appointment with Mr. Campus or with Mr. Partington. He's our off-campus coordinator, and he will have the conversation with you and coordinate a RAP placement and coordinate the program for you. You need to have an employer that's willing to sponsor you as an apprentice. And for many of our students, they have that job maybe already, or they have that connection already. And for some of our students, Mr. Partington acts as that connection and maybe has some prospective employers who are looking for a student apprentice. Know that this is a program that requires some significant upfront planning. And in general, any grade 10 student who gets signed on to RAP wouldn't really be earning hours that would go to their RAP program until likely the summer after grade 10. So there would be some planning pieces that would be put into place with Mr. Partington and with myself and with Mrs. Spink, and possibly a student could start to earn some hours that might go to that program. Typically, it's grade 11 and 12 students who are more directly participating in the RAP program. But again, those grade 11 and 12 students, it requires significant upfront planning in order to make the RAP program a reality. So certainly don't hesitate to contact us about it if you have any questions.
Over the next few years, students will have lots of opportunities to talk to myself and to post-secondary recruiters, and I would encourage them to do so. This is a great way to learn about different careers and different programs. They'll be on the announcement, stop by Student Services, and you also can see when they're coming on our social media, so our Student Services Instagram page. There's lots of scholarships available to students, but I want to highlight the Alexander Rutherford today. That's because students can start earning money towards their post-secondary with their grade 10 marks. So this is a reason why to do well, try your best, study hard.
Parents, you might be asking yourself, what's my role as a high school parent, especially if you're new to high school? Number one, be informed. If you don't have that Power School app on your phone, please get it on your phone, or make sure you're logging into it every once in a while on a desktop computer. Again, you can track student marks, you can track attendance, you can change your profile settings so that you are alerted, as to certain types of things, whether it's an absence, whether it's a mark update, whatever it might be. You know your kid best, and so you know how you might want to adjust those settings based upon your student and their schooling experience. Watch the website. Our website is a great resource for information. Lots of news announcements, lots of information there for both your student and for yourself. And hey, you know what? Dialogue with your student. Ask your kid about their day. If you see a mark in Power School, a 75% on an exam, ask them about what were the parts that challenged you, and what did you do about it? Did you connect with your teacher? How did you follow up with your teacher? Don't be afraid to have those conversations with your student about their school. They matter. And connect with teacher where necessary, and certainly certainly model that for your student, so that your student advocates for their self and can connect with teacher as well. Reinforce those positive habits and skills, whether it's attendance, timely arrival, homework routine, the open communication with teacher, counselor, and myself. And again, model that overcoming challenges or adverse situations so that your student is able to navigate their next 3 years in a progressively more independent fashion, so that they're ready for navigating the world after high school. At the end of their 3 years here, you certainly want them being able to go into the workforce or go to post-secondary school and be able to navigate those online environments, navigate those in-person environments, and have the conversations they need to with the adults that are going to help them get to where they want to be. And lastly, be involved. Join school council. Meetings are once a month, and I'm fairly sure that they will be virtual meetings again this year. Ask questions, attend athletic events, volunteer, all that kind of thing. Of course, COVID is limiting that right now, but we know that over the long haul, we certainly hope that there will be less limitations on that front, and there can be more opportunities for in-person attendance or volunteerism and that kind of thing. So don't hesitate to be active in your role as a high school parent is really the message. And here's just a little plug for the website. Our website did change. All PSD websites did change this year. So by all means, go to it for information or questions that you might have, and don't hesitate to give us a call. Again, we're your grade 10 team. Trish and I, we're your go-to people, but certainly there are other folks, our main office, reception staff, student services, where Ms. Weeb works. Those folks can certainly answer lots of questions that you might have as well. So again, welcome to Spruce Grove Composite High School. We certainly are enjoying having your grade 10 student here with us in this first month of school. And we know that this is going to be a great grade 10 year, and we look forward to working with you and your student. So again, thank you.
Yeah. And, thanks, guys.
Have a great night, morning, afternoon, depending upon
whenever they're watching it.
Whenever you're watching this. Okay. Bye.
Bye.